we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Come on along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Corey O'Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals here on this Thursday, May 28th. God, I just keep laughing when I say that, man. When we come back, it'll be freaking June, Todd Leary. I know. I mean, how in the hell do you lose a half a year when you don't do anything? We've been shut down doing nothing, and it's just gone. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I keep saying it every day, but the funny part seems like, I don't know if it seems like it's flown by or if it's drug out and lasted forever. Like one day I feel one way and the next day I feel the next. It's unusual, that's for sure.
It definitely feels like a year in the life that you won't get back. Wow. Last night, NASCAR trying to get back going again, another race scheduled in Charlotte. That one was postponed due to inclement weather. They're moving that to 7 p.m. tonight, which is good since it's crappy out, so it gives us something to look forward to. The Xfinity race, which was scheduled for Saturday night in Bristol, now moved to Monday. I love Bristol. Bristol's like a bull ring. It's like a half-mile track, and all they do is just beat the crap out of each other in that race. That's fun. Man, you're Mr. Carmel. On the lookout, a monkey was stolen from a lady in Goshen, Indiana, I saw. And she thinks it's down in Carmel. I'm like, wow, that's pretty specific for a stolen monkey.
That's a little specific. Yeah,
the monkey was stolen out of her house at 4 a.m. even, specific. The man took it. She said the man took it. I'm like, wait a minute. Who comes into a house in Goshen, Indiana at 4 a.m., steals a damn monkey, and goes to Carmel? And she knows, I'm like, okay.
Her ex-boyfriend?
I'd sure like to know the backstory to this thing. Because I got news for you.
Her ex-boyfriend couldn't figure out what he wanted from her, so he just decided to take her monkey.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, that's funny. Yeah, she thinks she's in Carmel. I was like,
who has a monkey? Michael Jackson's
Carmel,
one person
apparently.
I've ever known that had a monkey. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
Yeah, what are you doing with a monkey in Goshen? It's too damn cold up there. Monkeys don't live in that stuff, man. Craziness. The Naismith Men's Basketball Hall of Fame will move the 2020 induction ceremonies to next spring. It's one of the biggest classes ever as far as star power. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, the posthumously Eddie Sutton, Rudy Tomjanovich, Tamika Catchings, Baylor's Kim Mulkey, and Kobe Bryant. A few others, but those are scheduled to go in. But that's being moved to the spring because of coronavirus. So I guess they want to make sure they can get the visitors and the people in. It makes sense.
This is the what Hall of Fame?
Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay. When you first said it, in my mind, I was thinking college. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But then when you mention the inductees, it can't be college.
Yeah, it's Naismith men's basketball, so it's just the basketball. This is the one, man. I mean, NBA has theirs, and the college has theirs, but this is just all of basketball. I'd say that if you're an international guy, you could be gotten into this one, but it is the biggie. Yeah, man, what a class that's going to be. But at least Eddie Sutton, they talked about it. At least he knew he was going to go into the Hall of Fame before he passed, so that was a cool deal for him. It would kind of suck to be like Pete Rose. If he ever gets in the Hall of Fame one day, he may not be on this earth when that happens.
Yeah.
Odds are likely that that's not going to happen. I saw something else reminded me. Oh, go ahead.
At this point, though, he's probably more famous for not being in. Because every year we bring it up and talk about it.
Yeah, but he's just pretty famous.
If he gets in the Hall of Fame,
knuckle.
If he gets in the Hall of Fame, it'll be talked about that year. Possibly talked about the next year, and then it probably won't ever be talked about again for a long, long time. This way, every single year there's a Pete Rose push to get in the Hall of Fame. Works out better for him this way.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he thinks that way or not.
Well, I mean, when he's signing autographs out in the mall in Las Vegas and signing baseballs for people,
$25 or whatever.
Yeah, it probably works out better for him that he's in the news.
Yes. Your boy Billy Bean, is he on furlough? I saw that the Oakland A's are placing their scouts and selected front office personnel on furlough and cutting salaries of other executives. But you know what jumped out at me? The first thing that I was like, whoa, wait, stop the presses. What? Why do they have scouts? They don't need scouts. They got Billy Bean. Why do they still have scouts? I thought we took care of this in Moneyball.
They got Peter Brand.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, why do y'all still have scouts? I don't think you need scouts.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Kansas, University of Kansas also was, or Kansas University was furloughing all of their coaches or pay cut all of their coaches across the board. So it's a coming. And then I saw in the Major League Baseball guys are still complaining about losing money.
Yeah, that
I want to punch every one of them right in the face.
Baseball used to be, America's sport, and it's still obviously very, very popular. But this kind of stuff, that's what aggravates the crap out of people, especially during a time like this. Hell, if that was a normal time, that would gripe your beans, man. I mean,
here's what I can't understand. This is I've never had someone explain to me how this makes any sense. So I just read a thing this morning about Max Scherzer saying until the owners have an open book policy with profits that the owners make, they're not willing to negotiate any more pay cuts.
See, that's crap.
At what point could an employee walk into a company and say, look, I want to know how much money the owner makes. I want to know how much money the CEO makes. I want to see an open book policy on how much money we're making as a company. I mean, that's not a thing. Like that doesn't happen.
I agree. It's bullcrap. It's like,
so
dude,
why is it okay for them to say? They say this like they're proud of it. Like, we want to see how much money you make. Like you owe us that. No, they don't. They're the owners.
You just said the key words right there, because that's the society we're in now. You owe us. You owe. It's like everybody thinks they owe them everything. It's like, no, they don't, dude. You don't own the company.
The entitlement is just absolutely amazing when it comes to that.
Off the charts. That's the society. To make everybody feel good. Can you imagine what would it be like when we're gone? Good gosh. I mean, is it just going to be a whole land of lollipops and rainbows and unicorns and everybody feel good? I mean, that would be great if that was real life, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, that's the scary part is it's either going to have to completely blow up and like Major League Baseball or the NCAA or these entities are going to have to completely go away, or at some point there's going to have to be a major, overhaul of the attitudes of the players. I mean, these players associations, and look, I understand that those guys are the money makers, like, the NBA players. I understand they're the money makers, but the day-to-day workers at a factory or a plant, I mean, they're the money makers also. I mean, they're the people who do the grunt work and do everything. Now, the overall owners or stockholders or whoever it is, those people make money off of that. And at some point, I don't understand why sports are treated any differently or players, employees. I mean, that's the one thing that I think they all start to overlook is they are employees. They're not owners of the business. They are all employees of the business. And somehow they decide they get to make a bunch of demands.
That's the world we live in, unfortunately. But I agree 1,000% on this one. We're on the same page, man. It's just it's just funny. I don't know how that they think that that's going to be a sustained business model, but they don't think that because they don't care. The player, they don't care. They're like, it's all about me. Like Mike Trout. Oh my God, he's only going to make $19 million.
Look, if you've played in a season, and I'm saying this earnestly, like I wouldn't care if you won a $500 million lottery or whatever it was. If you've played in a couple seasons and you've made 30 million plus a couple of seasons, how in the world could you possibly worry about if you had to take a pay cut in a situation like this where the unemployment rate has not doubled, not tripled, but like times 10 across the country, and you think it can be okay for you to make a statement that you're only going to make $19 million a year and cry about it? Like, that's just doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, no, not to many people either. Text line's getting lit up already. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, I got the door closed. Tell them to be quiet. I had the birds
Jennifer
chirping today.
down in Evansville says, "Good morning, gents." Thank you, Jennifer. Gladly that you're listening.
I haven't heard from Jennifer in a while.
She's been just listening along, I'm sure. Being
We're
good.
about to send a welfare check out down there to Evansville.
Tim says, I see where Raheem Lane got number 0 after the rule change. I didn't know there was a rule change, but I did see that post. He's wearing number 0 for IU football next year. He's asking if that was an Indiana or an NCAA rule to allow jersey 0. I would guess that was an NCAA thing, but I'll check into that.
For football?
Yeah. Zion Williamson's files this is also from Tim. Zion Williamson's files for protective order from demand he admit receiving illegal benefits at Duke.
Does that mean you're not allowed to ask him the question anymore?
That's what he's trying. It sounds like he's trying to get to the point where you can't ask me that question or I don't have to answer that question.
Oh my gosh. If that goes through, I am getting ready to file so many protective orders. It's incredible.
I mean, that in and of itself right there.
I've got to read about that.
What is that screaming to anybody, obviously? Gee whiz, man. What would that be like? We know last year college basketball was rocked with the FBI corruption scandal and all that stuff and big names, not Duke, but Kansas, Arizona. Those are some big names in there. But the names that are always on people's minds that are cheating, Duke, Kentucky, and it doesn't matter who it is. I don't care that it's Kentucky, whoever it is. They're cheating. There's no way they're not cheating in some form or fashion. You can't tell me that the best cheaters that there are getting out recruited by a school that's not cheating.
Yeah, I mean, so here's a question. So let's just play the game with them, and let's just say that Zion Williamson and his family took money from Nike, okay, without the direction of Mike Krzyzewski and all that. Let's say it happened when he was a sophomore in high school. If you take that kid into your program, I'm not going to say not knowing that, but not being aware of what happened, not facilitating it. Are you in trouble? Should you be in trouble?
There's the rub, though. See, they want to act like that they weren't aware. But now, especially like in Bill Self's case.
I know the Louisville, right. Yeah, for sure.
Bill Self's case. He's freaking text messaging the damn guy from Adidas. So we don't know what they have on Duke. We don't know what has gone on. But you're not going to tell me a coach of Mike Krzyzewski's stature, who I have nothing but great respect for, but you're not going to tell me a guy that's been in that position for 40 years, the power that he wields, that Nike or anybody else is going to do that kind of stuff and him not know it. I'm not going to buy that.
Except for, I agree with you. I totally agree with what you're saying, except for the way that it happens nowadays at these AAU tournaments. I'm not sure that it's not already taking place long before they ever get to the school.
Yeah, they're not orchestrating it. Yeah, the schools aren't orchestrating it. I absolutely agree with you and believe that. They're not orchestrating it. They're quietly benefiting from it. They know what's going on, and they're just quietly benefiting. They're watching they're doing it for them. But you're right, because Nike wants those guys in their fold, and they want them to go to one of their schools.
So, for example, you take like a Marvin Bagley a couple years ago, or a Zion Williamson when he's a freshman in high school. So our AAU team played against him when he was an 8th grader. He was already 6'8" and really long and athletic and crazy. He was already projected to go to the NBA. What would prevent Nike from just paying that kid $100,000 a year for all of those years and basically getting him signed up? He's foregoing ever having the possibility of being able to play in college, but he wants to forego that anyway. If he doesn't have the one and done rule, then he's allowed to go straight to the NBA. So that's what I see. I see Adidas and Nike and these companies starting to make kids ineligible all the way down to the 8th grade because they'll just pay. And if you were a parent, you would, in my opinion, you'd be crazy to not take that money at that point. If that's your plan for your kid to go to the NBA anyway, and he's only going to be a one and done, you're not risking anything. You might as well take the $100,000 a year from the time they're 8th grade on.
But it's the ones that aren't that situation. But these schools are going to, I truly believe these schools are going to end up getting away with this. The NCAA is just going to say, oh, it's too much. Oh, they all did it. Everybody was doing it. So we're going to start with a new slate. I just see this coming, man. I don't know, though. They've acted like they got some teeth with Kansas, but we'll see. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. As a college basketball nut, I mean, we're college basketball fans. Would you rather have them just wipe the slate clean and say, hey, here are the rules from now on. If you break it, I don't even want to tell you what's going to happen to you. Or would you rather them play an NCAA tournament next season or 2 seasons from now or whatever without Kansas, Arizona, LSU, Duke, Auburn, Kentucky, all of these schools? Would you rather play an NCAA tournament without those schools? I'm asking. I know. I don't even know what my answer is.
And that's a good question that we're going to follow up on when we come back after the break. We're going to wrap our producer's knuckles here after letting us get a little deep. We got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Mitchell Page, former IU football great, is going to join us next. We're back with more right after this.
And the feeling that I'm yeah, darling, go make it happen.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Jimmy playing his Memorial Day song music for us. Coming back here on this Thursday. Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Coyle here with you here as always. Mitchell's going to join us here in a second. He's locked in a basement somewhere, which is appropriate. Jennifer sent in her text a minute ago. I just saw her sentence and she had a big space. I didn't realize that she wrote a lot afterwards. I am still trying to wrap my head around IU's academic calendar and the effect it will have on IU basketball. I am holding out hope that there will be a season, but the possibility of fans being able to attend games at Simon Scott Assembly Hall seems to be bleak. That's what we were talking about earlier. Perfect timing. I didn't see that, but what's basketball season going to look like if schools are getting students out of here by Thanksgiving? That's probably an extra 3 weeks of nobody in the stands, and then maybe that's better for them. Maybe that's easier to deal with the basketball side, but that's easier to social distance. I mean, it's going to be weird, man. But
it is, and this. I think this goes back to what we said a month ago. In that, I think June 1st we'll know a lot more than we did then, and I think July and August will be obviously really telling. This is one of those situations where being patient is very difficult after we've seemed like we've been patient for a long time already, but we don't know a lot more other than it looks like right now those seasons are going to take place.
One thing that did happen yesterday, the NCAA extends the recruiting dead period through July 31st. That means basically there will be no summer visits, basketball otherwise.
That also means there'll be no AAU until at least August. Probably, and that's a big deal.
That is most likely correct. So that answers a lot of questions. Now, that doesn't affect camps and things like that per se, but it definitely puts a – maybe I'm thinking that maybe their thinking on that is so they can solely focus on getting started on football season. I mean, I got to think that because it's a juggernaut. I mean, I no offense to those that play tennis or soccer or whatever else they play. Football is one of those vehicles that drives college athletics. It pays for tennis, pays for a lot of other things.
Money-wise, it's so big.
It is. I think that maybe that's like, hey, man, we got to focus on getting this Titanic turned around. And that's a job. So, and I don't blame them. But I would guess that's part of that because then – and also you can't just say, okay, everybody can go travel now. So it's just the easiest way to do it. But and the fairest way to do it, I think.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you kind of have to throw fair out the window. I mean, again, I just go back to we've all just got to kind of be patient because I think a month from now we'll know more. I think that July 4th, when all the stages, I know that's the state of Indiana, but it's kind of much more things are open across the country as of July 4th with no restrictions. I think we'll probably have a little better idea after that point.
I agree. One other thing, let's see. Oh, yeah, Alan, we were talking about a minute ago about the cheaters. Alan from down south hit absolutely play without the cheaters. So I don't think –
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree. Because there would be an asterisk next to whoever won because you want to beat the best teams. Even if they're cheaters. That was kind of Bob Knight's. You
know what I think they should have to do? I think on their uniforms for the entire next year, they have to have "We cheated" on their jerseys.
Or how about the coaches have to donate their whole salaries or, all kinds of different things.
And they have to coach from like a shark cage. just trying to get silly. I'm just sitting there thinking about Bill Self in a shark cage on the side.
Did you see Johnny Juzang?
That's up next. Yeah,
eligibility.
I meant to text our buddy Michael Lewis, and I was right in the middle of it, and I forgot. Man,
somebody
he's very happy.
I don't want to talk to him because I don't want to sound like I'm being negative towards UCLA because I'm not. It doesn't have. He could have been announced he was going to IUPUI. Like I don't care where he was going to. How is his eligibility immediate?
There we go. I mean,
here's my question.
That's Tom Izzo. I'm sure he'd like to know that question.
Exactly. That is exactly right. Is this going to be the new kind of standard because of the COVID-19? Are they going to be much more lenient now because of, I mean, he's supposedly transferring to be closer to home, not because he only averaged 7 minutes a game.
Well, and not only that one, how about here's a bigger one for you. Now, we don't know about Mac McClung going to Texas Tech and Chris Beard.
Did he announce it?
Yeah, it's done. I mean, how freaking good are they going to be?
Well, he's going to have to sit out a year. Most likely.
What are we talking about right now?
I know.
I mean,
hey, he's moving farther away from home. So I would love to hear this reason for transfer immediate eligibility.
I'm sure it's mental health. That's always a good one. That's always one that I mean, no, I'm not making light of. I mean, I deal with that stuff. So it's not like Jim Harbaugh talked about that. I mean, he said, "Hey, you make the claim and it's over. It's like hands off."
Right.
And let's be honest. In society, man, people find a shortcut, they will abuse the shortcut.
Sure they will. Sure they will.
And so that's exactly one of the things that he talked about for this rule, this transfer thing, that very thing. He goes, how the hell do this guy's immediate, this guy's not, this person lies, this person doesn't. So it's crap.
And I'm asking just because that was his issue last season. Is DJ Carton immediately eligible?
You know what? I don't remember.
Where'd he go? Minnesota?
Marquette, I believe, right?
Marquette. That's right.
Marquette. So I don't recall, but we all know. I mean, there's some are, some aren't. Again, like I said, just ask Tom Izzo. He had a come apart last year. He quit one of those committees he was on,
right?
Because of that.
Rightfully so, in my opinion. When you see things like this,
we'll have to get our producer again. Have him get Mitchell on with us. Mitchell's going to join us here in a second. Yes, you should call him again. Johnny Juzang, what's bigger? Him going to UCLA, which they were going to be good. I mean, these two teams we're talking about, they're not just teams. They're both teams are really going to be good because already we're heading in that direction. UCLA, we saw what they did last year, where they were heading. Texas Tech, Chris Beard, a couple of years off of a Final Four, but they played good last year. We're going to be good, man.
Did you see the guard from Texas Tech that forego his senior season to go back home and play in Italy? Moretti, I think his name was Moretti.
What was the question again?
The kid from Texas Tech. So Texas Tech needed Mac McClung because they just lost. I think his last name was Moretti. I'm pretty sure it was their starting two guard. He'd forego his senior season not to play in the NBA, but to go home and play in the Italian league.
Well, whatever's best, I guess. I mean, I think that's the last place I would be heading, to be honest with you, is anything to do with Italy.
Yeah,
I mean,
but not if your whole family was there. David Moretti. Yeah, he left to go home and play. And
we're going to have Mitchell Page join us here a little bit. A little disjointed this morning, but thanks a lot to having Mitchell on. What's up, man? My man, Mitch.
Jim, what's up? Sorry about that. I'm a little behind. Right. I was in a basement.
That's exactly where you belong, in a basement too.
I know.
I know.
That's
you locked
what I was
away.
to say. That was an easy one.
How's life going? What's new? How's the joint business?
It's getting back. It's good. The world's kind of going back to normal. I'm sure you're talking about it all the time on the show, but surgeries are picking up a little bit, so I'm working more. That's what I'm doing this morning. That's why I was in a basement. But it's good. I'm picking up every day and excited for football season. At least, hopefully, we can get there.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. We're talking about to get these seasons back, what it's going to look like, too. And then the announcement came in with IU that they're planning to get students back on campus. But even with that, that'll cover all games from what I've seen except for the Michigan game and Purdue at the end of the season. But then we look at basketball, which you don't care about. You're a football player. But it's going to be a little weird, but the Purdue game always comes during that time anyway, so that's not much of a change. And then the Michigan game. So really it's not going to be a big change schedule-wise for Indiana. It just doesn't seem like.
No, hopefully not. And hopefully we can keep making updates as kind of the spread stops and infection stops. Updates that allow a little more freedom maybe not fans in the stadium the first couple games, but eventually when this is not gone, but gone enough, we can get some fans in there and get that place rocking.
How's the Mitchell Page golf game going?
It's okay. I could beat you.
Well, that's not. That's like saying you're a better receiver than me too, because you.
That's like saying you could get 600 on the SAT.
Exactly. I think you get that for writing your name correctly.
That's what I mean.
I've been playing a little bit. I'm excited for the weather to get better.
Gotta get you and Leary out there together.
Where do you play? You live up in Carmel. Where do you play up there?
I'm at Prairie View most of the time. I just joined up there. They got a pretty good deal for guys my age, and there's a good group of dudes that are playing. I just started playing with them. I'm playing okay.
If you get a chance, make sure you check out the Wall of Fame as you walk down that hallway back to the restaurant. Make sure you bow to the club championship trophies that are over there.
Oh, please. Is there a Leary name on one?
There's several Leary names across the board there.
Do they all have Todd in front of them?
They do.
My goodness gracious.
I'll look at them. You guys will have to come up and play with me. Relive the old grounds.
Indiana football continuing along, man. The offers keep going. The commitments are coming along. And this COVID-19, it's kind of it's going to affect everyone the same, I guess. But I don't know that it will affect everyone the same. How will certain teams manage to get through this and still yet promote their guys to continue getting better? It's going to be a weird season, especially now. We got to look at practice and getting started, and you as well as anybody know that how important that routine and the fall of getting going before those games, because man, you got to get into football shape. It's not just getting into shape. You got to get into football shape. There's a big difference that people don't understand.
Yeah, definitely. There's something different about running sprints on the football field in shorts and running sprints on the football field when somebody's trying to knock your head off. So it's a different kind of adrenaline. Your heart gets pumping, and the guys are going to take time to get in shape, but everybody's going to deal with that. I think what's been the most interesting to watch just on Twitter, kind of from afar, is the way teams are recruiting. You watch a team like Tennessee, unfortunately, they beat us last year, and maybe if we beat them, we have this kind of momentum. But since COVID started, they've gotten like 20 commitments, it seems like, and they're all from 3.5, 4-star players, some 5-star players. They've gone up to second in the rankings. So that's a team that's taken full advantage of, I'm not sure what they're doing, full advantage of being at home, but getting on the phones with kids and getting in front of them, whether it's on Zoom meetings or FaceTime, whatever it is. I think that's where the teams will differentiate themselves the most, because everybody practices, everybody hits each other, everybody runs sprints, everybody runs through offense, defense. But recruiting, you have to get really creative. And I think Indiana's done a good job. They're, at least on Twitter, in the finals for some really good players from really good football states. So they're doing well, but a team like Tennessee, that's what you're kind of looking for your program. And I think that's something that's going to be great for Tennessee going forward, and hopefully IU can get some of that momentum as well.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. Winning or losing that game, it carried weight. I mean, and it probably did tip the scales for certain recruits to Tennessee. Not that they were going to Indiana, but Tennessee or someplace else. But it tipped them towards Tennessee because they see that momentum. You want to catch that wave. And it probably did hurt Indiana a little bit losing that game. How they lost it probably, but that's a whole nother. We're going to beat that horse to death. But,
yeah, I think how they lost it hurt them more than anything. If they would have went out and lost 40-0, that's something. But to be where they were and then not give the game away, you never want to say they gave a game away. Tennessee made plays to win, but to be in that position and not get a win. If I'm a recruit, you look at that like, well, dang, what's going on? How do they not finish that one in a kind of program, not defining, but changing win what it could have been? How do they not get that one if I'm a recruit, you know?
Yeah, it would have been special for them, but they get to come back again, fortunately, and they're returning a lot of production, man. If they can keep Michael Penix healthy, which, of course, everyone knows that is the recipe for Indiana.
If you don't keep him. That's the number one goal.
Yeah, if you don't keep him healthy, it's over. But with a healthy Michael Penix and what's coming back, and they keep adding stuff, I mean, they have a potential to really have a good season. Now this year, the difference is, Mitchell, the expectations are there for that season that they had last year. Now they have to perform like they did last year with those expectations this year, which that's different.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, going to a bowl game doesn't seem like the goal, right? Getting 6 wins, looking at the calendar, okay, let's get our 6 and go to a bowl game. I think that would be a failure. I think if they find a way, their schedule at Wisconsin is not easy, but then they go on a little run of very winnable games, probably games they're all favored in, and this, I think, you never want to say this is it, this has to be it, but if there's ever going to be a time that you're going to take momentum to the next level, this would be the year to beat the Penn State, the Ohio State, the Michigan, whoever it is. Michigan's at home. We've always played them tough. I think now I'm in the media, so I guess I can say this. I think they're the most beatable team among the top teams. I just don't think they're never anything super special. They find out how to win, but I think they're way overhyped every year. So beating a team like that with that kind of tradition, and recruits see that, especially the 4.5 stars, I think that can change a whole program and change where we're going to where we don't expect 6 or 8. Maybe we're starting to expect 9 or 10.
I agree. Indiana, and they have to do it this year, I think. They have to beat somebody, in quotation, somebody. They've got to beat. Like last year, giving up that Michigan State game, which they should have won. Got to win those games. You got to win those games, but you got to beat somebody like Penn State. Got to beat Penn State. They have this year. They have to. In my mind, they have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they just have to. I think less for recruiting. If it's this year, I think less for recruiting, more for just the guys in the locker room and the coaches to be like, okay, finally, we've been in these situations. It's time to do this more often. We know, okay, this is how we win. When it comes down to the fourth quarter and there's 2 possessions left in the game, who's going to make the play? Let it be me. I think that's something that's going to change the locker room more than anything.
Let it be me. I love that, man. That's a good one to end on. Well, brother, I hope you have a great day. I know you're busy working. I can't thank you enough for taking time to climb out of the basement to join us today. I look forward to seeing you again. We got to get a golf game up.
I can't wait. Once this rain stops, I got to get down to Bloomington. It's my favorite place in the world. So
can't wait to have your brother Mitchell Page, a former great IU football player. Thanks a lot for joining us. As always, we appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Have a great one. There's Mitchell Page joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat as we are coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals here on this Thursday. Coming up next, Kevin Brockway from CNHI, and we got plenty more to talk about. Stay tuned. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat on Golf Course.
For breaking her heart.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Jimmy, where's that noise coming from? Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals, here on this Thursday, May 28th, joined now by our good friend Kevin Brockway from CNHI Papers. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Good morning, guys.
Lots going on, man. IU announcing yesterday, plan on getting students back. You've got the new rule change, which is no big deal on allowing zero. Raheem Lane grabs that, which I don't know why that was a big deal. It's kind of funny. But the bigger deal is Indiana getting students back on campus. Of course, that's imperative for football, which we know that the schools are all working in that direction, and that seems to be something that will happen.
Yeah, I think you're waiting on the Big Ten in terms of, lifting their, moratorium for workouts in terms of, that's May 31st was the cutoff date. So I would not be surprised to see, guys back in mid-June, but we'll see how that plays out. I think that's the main thing that a lot of schools, in this region are waiting on the Big Ten's ruling. And as we know, Kevin Warren has been somewhat cautious with it, but I think that, signs are improving, at least in most states through the region. Michigan and Illinois are still having some issues, but Indiana certainly is improving.
Yeah, and I have to think that the NCAA extending the recruiting dead period through July 31st has a lot to do with trying to get football started and not trying to do two gigantic things at one time.
Yeah, and I think football. It's going to be interesting to see a lot of schools, and certainly we'll get Tom Allen's input on this if and when the moratorium is lifted. But a lot of schools are discussing phases where, you might have a first workout phase in a couple of weeks where people aren't even throwing footballs to each other, where you're just going to be, and you're going to be kind of in smaller groups. But at least you'll have that togetherness there that's important. I know that Tom Allen has said in the past that June and July are kind of critical months to get going. So you'll have some organization there. And I think as time progresses, and if the testing goes well, and if players are not sick, that you'll see it ratchet up to the point where they'll be able to gather in the larger groups.
Yeah, and so now as we move forward with that, getting those guys back on campus, but not getting the visits and recruiting wise, I think from the basketball side, you can't stop recruiting, obviously, and it makes it a little harder for them too, because they have to recruit without showing off their bells and whistles. I mean, you can show them off through a video camera and all that, but it's not quite the same. But it's the same for everybody. But that's definitely what the basketball side is looked at from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, and July, Jim, was always a big evaluation month. Not necessarily a contact month, but you're there. You're seen by the recruits, obviously. You go to these events. I know in the past, I used to go up to Reebok in New York City, outside New York City at Fairleigh Dickinson. The AAU championships used to be in Orlando. I think they moved back there. They were in Louisville for a little while, too. So a lot of these events, you can kind of size up certain guys in certain situations because, as we know, take, for example, a small school kid like Luke Brown, in AAU ball, you can kind of see how he translates against, the best competition and the best teams in the country. So I think it really, is interesting on the evaluation phase with the 2021 prospects. This is usually a good time. And the shame is that you won't see those kind of late bloomers that can get a chance to make a statement in June and move up in terms of their stock.
Another thing that Todd and I were talking about this morning, news on transfers. Johnny Zhang from UK immediately eligible at UCLA, which I'm sure Mick Cronin and Michael Lewis are very, very happy about that. And then Mac McClung is headed to Texas Tech with Chris Beard. There's a couple of big names going to some big schools that were already good and probably going to be now better because of this.
Yeah, and then now Justin Smith is out there as a grad transfer, as I'm sure you addressed last week. So certainly there are probably some grad transfers out there, Jim, and it's kind of interesting that Indiana now has scholarship room, obviously, with the departure of Justin and Demezy Anderson during the offseason. So, maybe you dip into that market a little bit and try to find a guy. I think a good addition for this Indiana, squad would be to find kind of like that stretch four, that power forward that can shoot threes, to open up the floor a little bit for Christian Lander and for Trace Jackson Davis, and be able to get that two-man, that drive and dish to the basket going a little bit. I know they're trying to work with Race on his shooting range too, and he's got a little bit of potential there, but he's far from a knockdown shooter. If you can find that guy, sometimes you find those European guys, those big stretch four types. I think that would complement Indiana's roster really well.
I agree with that, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would. I'm just not sure that player's out there. I'm not sure at this time of the year. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it's not worth it to just settle for someone and roll the dice and see if they're going to work out. But I mean, I don't know that you're going to find a player more talented than Justin Smith. So I also, given the current situation of the COVID and budgets and everything going on, I don't know that you don't just sit on the scholarship or give it to one of the walk-on guys who are there, because I don't see anyone coming in, fitting into the system. And there's always the guys that surprise you, but I don't see anyone coming in that's going to fit into the system better than Jerome Hunter and Race Thompson already will, having been in it for a couple seasons.
And Kevin, I wonder, there's been so much talk that we've all seen, the camaraderie has not exactly been complete on this squad for 3 years. Getting a lot closer to that now. Doing, like Todd says, bringing somebody in like that would be a temporary fix. Does that do more harm by disrupting that apple cart a little bit than coming in? I don't know. It's a catch-22 kind of.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think that's where you get into the character piece. And the guy last year, like Joey Brunk, who's running as a grad transfer, you did your background. You knew this was going to be a good locker room guy. This was going to be a guy that was going to be about the right things. This was going to be a guy that worked. So you would have to do your due diligence on that as well. And finding that kind of guy, by the way, who's 6'8", and can shoot three-pointers, I guess I'm coming around to agreeing with Todd there. That's pretty hard to find these days in the game.
Yeah, as soon as you started saying that, I think I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things he's got to. That's a lot of boxes.
If they needed to find a 5'8" guard, I mean, there's a plenty of those.
Yeah, Indiana's got them all over the place.
That's not the case.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, having to have those guys that checks all those boxes. But well, the good thing is, it looks like we unless something drastically changes, we are going to have a football season, Kevin, and that's big for Indiana. We was talking with Mitchell Page just a minute ago. I mean, Indiana's coming up on a season in which they're going to have expectations because they got a lot of production back. If they can keep Michael Penix healthy, people are going to expect them to do what they did last year, but more. And as they should, because they should be better than they were last year. And actually, to be honest with you, they underachieved last year a little bit. People may think that sounds a little crazy, but it's not. They should have won a couple of games that they didn't. So those expectations, now they have to play with those expectations. The coaches, and I know not everybody talks about this, but they got a lot less experience coaching on Indiana coaching than a lot of other schools. So now you have expectations on top of that too. So that's a lot of stuff going on for this football staff.
I like the growth defensively, particularly what we saw in the bowl game. And listen, Tennessee was a team that struggled offensively in the SEC, but they were still an SEC team. And how do you not have that flub on the, extra point, on the onside kick, and the extra point too? You would have taken them into overtime, or you would have won the game outright had you not had the special teams mistake on the onside kick. And your defense accounted for a touchdown in that game. And I think defensively, this team has really a tremendous chance to grow. And in particular, even Kane Womack, who I think took some lumps early on in his first year as a defensive coordinator, but got better as the season went along. Certainly I think if you're an Indiana fan, you have to be excited about that side of the ball with Tywan Mullen as a sophomore, and even some of the additions, Jovan Swan. Offensively, I think all of a sudden that becomes a little bit of a question mark because you lose Kalen DeBoer, who we could see right away was kind of a special play caller, and you bring in Nick Sheridan, who's in his early 30s and who's a little more unproven, comes from very good pedigree, came with Mike DeBoer from Tennessee. But keeping Michael Penix will be one of those keys to the health of the offense. And you do have Whop Billiard back. Peyton Hendershot situation still a little bit up in the air, even though he's back with the team on the provisional basis. He's got a change of plea hearing on June 9th, and we'll have to see, how that goes and what kind of discipline goes from that. So I think that's going to be a little bit of a question mark, could be the offense, going forward.
I couldn't agree with you more. Also, you got a piece out right now on big tight end Indiana pulled in.
Yeah, Cameron Taylor, and it's kind of funny. I covered some of his games in Gainesville when I was working there. I would help out doing some high school football games, and I didn't quite remember him. He wasn't a guy that stood out to me, but I knew his high school coach really well. Bill Wiles, a really good guy who's also coached in Valdosta, Georgia, along with the North Florida region. Very accomplished guy. His brother, Charlie Wiles, was a longtime defensive tackle coach at Virginia Tech and now is at NC State. So, talking to Bill Wiles, it was interesting. He talked a little bit about work ethic and the fact that you had this big-bodied kid. He had a little bit of a basketball background, but he convinced him to come out to football. But he didn't necessarily quite have that passion for the game early on or the work ethic. But South Alabama still took a chance on him. They thought maybe they could turn him into a tackle, but he had trouble putting on weight, stayed at tight end, and really started to come around, and the work ethic improved. And he's now getting that Power 5 opportunity. So I see this as a guy that's a late bloomer. The light is starting to come on a little bit. He's going to be a really good, I think, blocker for them, a guy that you can use in goal line situations and 2 tight end sets, and might be able to catch a few passes too. And he's talked about, he's at 270 now, but he's talked about maybe slimming down to 260, 255 to be able to do that. He caught a touchdown pass last year against Nebraska, so he's got a little bit of receiving ability, and he might get more opportunities in this offense, especially if, Peyton Hendershot's situation early in the season. We'll have to see if he's forced to sit some games.
Absolutely. Kevin Brockway from CNHI, appreciate you joining us. Make sure you give him a follow. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Welcome back from Florida.
Thank you, guys.
Kevin Brockway joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. We appreciate it, as always, as we heading towards another break here in a second. But Man, football season is I can't get excited about anything yet because it's like you've just been spinning your wheels. But when I start talking about it and thinking about it, it starts to get really exciting because, man, they should be fun to watch this year. But as Kevin pointed out, and we got a lot of newness, new offensive coordinator that is inexperienced. Nick Sheridan had a year under a very good one, but we'll see how that goes. But I wish him the best, of course. But it's going to be exciting, and it's a great opportunity for him too. I mean, he gets to showcase. I mean, he's got some talent to start with. It's a lot better starting out that way than not having that kind of talents.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously you want to have the horses to be able to put out on the track, but this is a situation of we talked about it after the football season, and Indiana. I think the bowl game that Indiana was able to get to was the top one they could have expected, and they didn't really take advantage of that opportunity. So now they've got an opportunity to come out with a ton of expectations and this time succeed in doing that. And it's going to be a tough year. It's not going to be easy. The schedule is still what it is. You still got to beat good teams, and that's what it comes down to.
He ain't lying. We got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary. We're coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Go to thehoosier.com for complete coverage of Indiana athletics. We're back with more right after this.
With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is James Blackman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat, commentating from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Go to thehoosier.com. It's Thursday, May 28th. I don't do a lot of political stuff. This is kind of close to that, but it's University of Minnesota has severed ties with the Minneapolis Police Department, as rightfully so, as that entire city is protesting, rightfully so, after – I don't know how you say anything other than one of their police officers murdered another citizen right in front of everybody. And I hope he goes to prison for the rest of his life. Every one of them. I wanted to punch that guy that was standing in front of people. I wanted to punch him in the freaking face so bad. And it was just, that was one of the most maddening videos I've ever watched. I mean, I wanted to beat we're all there. I wanted to beat the shit out of those guys. I mean, I literally did. He looked so arrogant and smug. I wanted to kick him right in the balls. And it was just,
it was a bad. There's nothing about that that's acceptable. I mean, I don't know how it puts a lot of other law enforcement officers in a very bad position.
Yes,
and that's dangerous.
And it's not fair to them.
It's not. That's beyond not fair. Like it is. Yeah, but what you said is right. I mean, there has to be major punishment for that person, and I don't mean like inter-department punishment. I mean, he's got to be prosecuted, and everyone's got to understand that. And I'm the first one to say, hey, we're not law enforcement officers. We don't know what it's like on a daily basis and all that. But what happened in that is not acceptable. Like that's just
my opinion on this. My brother is a state trooper. My opinion on this is you never see state troopers involved in these, do you? It's always local law. You know why? Because they're not. It's just some jackass who wants to become a cop. A state trooper goes through a lot of training and this, that. These jackasses.
I'm laughing.
You just look at them and you can just see these are morons. He's like on idiots. We're being policed by half idiots. And that's the danger right there. It look what it requires. It obviously does not require a whole lot of freaking intelligence to be a local. Well, I don't want to say that because that's
you
can't
a slight
say against.
That.
And I don't,
because
and I
you're
don't mean it
blanketing
that way. Yes, and I don't mean it that way in any way. It's because
you're blanketing a ton of good ones,
right?
And I know you're not trying to.
They're mostly good. No, they're mostly good. It sucks that those few idiots do that to all the ones that are great, and we appreciate all you guys that do that. Like I said, my brother is on the front lines. We appreciate all of them because it's a dangerous life and it's a sacrifice, but it sucks to see people like that just take so much down. But that's enough of that stuff. But had to get one off. But
I was chuckling because you generally are the one calming me down with bad language, and you you had your own little rant there for a minute. It was kind of nice to see it on the shoe on the other foot.
That one struck a nerve, but that's kind of a first to see a school like that just say, "Yeah, we're done." I mean, can you imagine IU saying, "We're done with Bloomington Police Department. Get out of here. Stay away from us." That's a big deal. I mean, think about football game, all the athletic, the community itself. There's just a ton of things that cross over there.
Sure.
So it's a major deal.
Go to any basketball and football game, and you'll see Ellettsville police there. You'll see the Bloomington police. They've got to have help from the outside entities, and it's a big step in saying that you're doing that. But I mean, I think if any situation warrants it, it's this one. I mean,
it did come after a student demand, by the way, that they do that. But good for them. But it's
and I expect that relationship to probably be back together. I mean, it
has to be. It has to, and just like we talked, it has to be. Yeah,
you need them. But I mean, it's more of a statement of something's got to be done. And a lot of times in those situations, time would go by and there wouldn't be a lot of things done. The national attention on this one is not going to let that one happen.
As it should not.
Unfortunately for everyone involved. Like
absolutely.
We would all be better if that situation never took place.
Absolutely. And hopefully they stop. But Tim also hit us up on the text line. Why extend the recruiting deadline if you're going to allow athletes to come back to school and start work out in June? Well, because if they're going to have to worry about students coming back, they don't need to be worrying about other students coming in and recruiting and adding to that. They're trying to minimize what
what they're having to deal with. So if you can mitigate the situation as best as possible, which the recruiting mitigates that, it keeps kids that don't have to be on a campus off. And that's what they're trying to do. I mean, hey, if you don't have to be like, I don't expect us to be allowed back. I don't know when it's going to be a minute, I think, before media is back there doing something on campus. I think that they're going to keep us and everybody else away for as long as possible, which I'm sure they enjoy that to a degree.
Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but I don't see that as the big issue when it comes to extending that dead period. I see the recruiting from the standpoint of you leaving the campus and going, like, I'll use basketball as an example. Like, July is a gigantic month for basketball recruiting. And it's probably, if it's not the biggest month, it's either May or July. One of those two is the biggest month where you have coaches have the opportunity to watch kids play AAU basketball. And you know my feeling on the difference between AAU and high school basketball when you're evaluating talent. Like I think one of our guests earlier, Brockway, mentioned watching a guy like Luke Brown be able to play in AAU. Playing in his high school competition is not going to prove whether he could play in the Big Ten or not. So that is the way. That's the one I see. I mean, yes, having the people come onto campus, I think it's going to be restricted, just like you said. I mean, I'm generally allowed to walk into Cook Hall anytime I want. Now, I bet that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I bet that's not, you know what you mean? Yeah, you mean going forward long term?
Yeah, for a long time, for a while.
Yeah. Also, let's see. Coyle sounds like the old Howard Stern radio show. He liked my rant, I think.
well, make sure they know it was not live. So
yeah, no,
we'll bleep him out.
Well, it's live, but it's not on air.
Yeah,
that one was messed.
We can say anything on the internet.
He also missed the birds this morning. I hear them
too.
now. As a matter of fact, I hear them now. That's funny.
You don't hear them in my house?
No, they're mine. It's on my end.
Oh, okay.
And mine's closed too, and I still hear them. But yeah, looks like it's gonna actually be a decent day out there, and that's just gonna be wet.
It's gonna be beautiful out.
Well, beautiful and wet.
You know what? You know the good part about this. This is a golfer's dream right here, because the rain will have and the forecast will scared everyone away to not come out and play. So I'll bet you I'll have the course to myself today.
You won't be too far off, because I can't imagine too many people going out there amongst the rain and the loose hay that's laying around everywhere. Now you have loose, wet hay laying around.
I need a bush hog around here right now.
Oh my gosh! If you live around here,
if you want to play, hey, let me challenge any golfer out there. If you want to play in U.S. Open conditions, come out to the golf point at Eagle Point. The golf club at Eagle Point, because the rough here is longer than every U.S. Open course that has ever been played. And that's a fact.
Combined, maybe.
It is. It goes straight from the fairway to 10-inch rough.
It's wow. I'm like, whoo. If I was that good, I'd be playing on the tour.
It's not easy.
It ain't easy, is right. Man, it's been another fun day, though, as always. I want to thank Mitchell Page for joining us, Kevin Brockway from CNHI for joining us. Looking forward to doing it again tomorrow, guys. I can't wait. I hope everybody goes out and has a happy, safe day. And until tomorrow, for Todd and Jimmy John, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.